The National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not require a lightning arrestor at the service entrance. The NEC only requires a lightning arrestor if the building is located in an area with a high incidence of lightning strikes. The plan reviewer is correct in advising its removal from the plans if the building is not in such an area. NEC Section 250.106 addresses surge arrestors, also known as lightning arrestors. This section states that lightning arrestors shall be installed to protect electrical equipment and building occupants. These surge arrestors shall be listed and labeled as suitable for the intended application and shall be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. There is an exception that surge arrestors shall not be required where the arrestor is not necessary to protect against a hazardous condition. An informational note clarifies that surge arrestors may not be necessary for certain low-voltage devices, such as surge suppressors, or for systems that are effectively grounded. The key takeaway is that the requirement for lightning arrestors is not universal and depends on the geographical location and the presence of other protective measures. When determining whether a lightning arrestor is necessary, firstly consider the local climate and frequency of lightning strikes. Areas prone to frequent lightning activity have a higher risk of electrical surges and damage, making surge protection more critical. Secondly, assess the building's construction and grounding system. Buildings with robust grounding systems are better equipped to dissipate surge energy, potentially reducing the need for additional surge arrestors. Thirdly, evaluate the sensitivity of the electrical equipment and electronics within the building. Sensitive equipment is more susceptible to damage from even minor surges, warranting the installation of surge protection devices. Fourthly, review local codes and regulations, as some jurisdictions may have specific requirements for lightning protection in certain types of buildings or occupancies. It is essential to consult the manufacturer's instructions when installing a surge arrestor. Proper installation is crucial for ensuring that the device functions effectively and provides the intended level of protection. The manufacturer's instructions will typically specify the recommended wiring methods, grounding requirements, and mounting locations. Failure to follow these instructions could compromise the performance of the surge arrestor and potentially create a safety hazard. When selecting a surge arrestor, consider the following factors. 1. The voltage rating of the surge arrestor should match the voltage of the electrical system it is protecting. Using a surge arrestor with an incorrect voltage rating can lead to premature failure or inadequate protection. 2. The surge current capacity of the surge arrestor should be sufficient to handle the expected surge currents in the area. Higher surge current capacity indicates that the surge arrestor can withstand larger surges without being damaged. 3. The type of surge arrestor should be appropriate for the application. There are different types of surge arrestors available, each designed for specific purposes. For example, some surge arrestors are designed for use at the service entrance, while others are designed for protecting individual equipment. 4. The listing and labeling of the surge arrestor should indicate that it has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or Intertek. This ensures that the surge arrestor meets industry standards for safety and performance. When installing a surge arrestor, it is important to properly ground the device. Grounding provides a path for surge current to flow to ground, minimizing the voltage surge that reaches the protected equipment. The grounding conductor should be sized appropriately for the surge current capacity of the surge arrestor and should be connected to a suitable grounding electrode. In addition to surge arrestors, surge suppressors can also be used to protect against electrical surges. Surge suppressors are typically used to protect individual pieces of equipment, such as computers, televisions, and appliances. They work by clamping the voltage to a safe level, preventing it from exceeding the equipment's voltage rating. Surge suppressors are available in a variety of configurations, including plug-in strips, wall-mounted units, and hardwired devices. When selecting a surge suppressor, consider the following factors. 1. The voltage rating of the surge suppressor should match the voltage of the equipment it is protecting. 2. The energy absorption rating of the surge suppressor should be sufficient to handle the expected surge energy. Higher energy absorption ratings indicate that the surge suppressor can withstand larger surges without being damaged. 3. the number of outlets should be sufficient to accommodate all of the equipment that needs to be protected. 4. The listing and labeling of the surge suppressor should indicate that it has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory. Effective grounding is critical for surge protection. A properly grounded system provides a low impedance path for surge current to flow to ground, minimizing the voltage surge that reaches the protected equipment. The grounding system should be installed in accordance with the National Electrical Code and other applicable standards. The grounding electrode system should consist of one or more grounding electrodes, such as ground rods, ground plates, or underground metallic water pipes. The grounding electrode should be connected to the building's grounding system using a grounding electrode conductor. The size of the grounding electrode conductor should be based on the size of the service entrance conductors. In addition to the grounding electrode system, the building's metal water piping system should also be bonded to the grounding system. This helps to equalize the potential between the water piping system and the electrical system, reducing the risk of electrical shock. The metal water piping system should be bonded to the grounding system at the point where the water service enters the building. All metal enclosures containing electrical equipment should be grounded. This includes enclosures for paddle boards, disconnect switches, and motor starters. Grounding the metal enclosures helps to protect against electrical shock in the event of a fault. The metal enclosures should be grounded using a grounding conductor that is sized appropriately for the circuit. Regular inspection and maintenance of the grounding system is essential for ensuring its effectiveness. The grounding connections should be checked for corrosion and tightness. The grounding electrode should be inspected for damage or deterioration. Any problems with the grounding system should be corrected promptly. An effectively grounded system is one where the impedance to ground is low, allowing surge currents to flow easily to ground without causing a significant voltage rise. Low impedance is achieved by using adequately sized grounding conductors, minimizing the length of the grounding conductors, and ensuring that all grounding connections are clean and tight. The location in Indianapolis does not necessarily require a lightning arrestor based solely on its geographic location. However, a thorough risk assessment considering factors such as building height, surrounding terrain, and the presence of sensitive electronic equipment is still recommended to determine the need for surge protection.